We started making names right away, and I loved it. I was robbing drug dealers, taking their gold right off their neck, and the shit we did, who's gonna call the police on you? A drug dealer?
I can identify with anything that was normal, to be honest with you. But I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
99% of the time, you're gonna disappear.
Just like the Donnie Brasco situation with Lefty?
Yeah, because the reason why, they figure it this way. You brought this guy around, he ratted on everybody, now he ratted on you. You might turn around and join him and rat on us, so we get rid of you. There's no connection between there and there, and they get rid of you.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Tim Friede. But we're going to wait a little while for Tim to get on here. Shout out to everybody who is joining us tonight. Richard Dowling, how are you? So this dude has a crazy story, something I have never seen before in my life. And if you guys are like me, when you guys see this content, you're going to be like, wow, it's insane. So we're joined now by Mr. Tim Friede.
What's up,
What's
dude?
up, Tim? How are you, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How have you been?
Been alive.
Always pushing the envelope, right?
Try to.
You're a wild man. Hello,
Yeah.
Maureen. So we got a live audience watching right now, and I'm sure there's a lot of snake lovers out there. And Everett, what's up, man? So we're gonna talk about what you do for a living, or what you did for your, what would you call it? Your life's work?
Yeah, I get bit by snakes, and that's what I get paid to do. So,
Hey, man, how do you know, like on the first time, how do you know how much to give yourself? And are you not like terrified the first time?
no, you're always terrified. You're always scared. You don't know because there's no books written on it. There's no research on it for the most part. There is a little bit, but not too much. So you write the book.
I've seen the book, and the guy who wrote the book is dead from doing what you do.
Mm-hmm.
He died trying to do it.
Yeah, Bill Huss.
Yeah, he was writing his experience after he got bit, and he died.
Yeah, it's a tough gig, man. It's not keep your day job, put it that way. It's a tough living, but it's fun.
So when you get your first venomous snake, how long is it until you are like, I'm gonna let it bite me?
4 months.
And what was the first one?
Cobra bite, but I can take like I did taipan in 4 months. In 4 months, you got to dry venom out, weigh it out, measure it out, and calculate that. And that's one of the reasons I take a lot of notes, is because that's the only way to do it. You just take a lot of notes and weigh it out. Milligram wise, you want to do everything milligram wise. So I go 0.0011 milligrams to 6 milligrams in 4 months every single time. But depends on the venom. Venom's different. It's complex.
Do you have does it affect you physically? Do you feel this like over time? And what's the effects? Short term and long term?
Short term, yeah, it hurts. Every bite's painful. Long term, not really. I'm still alive. But when you're talking like a lapids, the most dangerous snakes in the world, they're really easy to do. When you talk about Western Diamondbacks or Viperidae, it's different because the venom is different. It's easy on some snakes and it's really hard on different snakes. So I do water cobra, piece of cake. Black mamba, green mamba, easy. But the rest of them, they're different. It depends on the venom. It completely depends on the venom. It's completely different. And that's because of the 4 families of venom, which is PLA2s, 3-finger toxins, serine proteinases, and metalloproteinases. They're all different. And that's kind of why I picked them. It's like, how does it feel? So that's why I never mixed venom up. So,
wow, I can't believe that you would even like risk messing with any of that venom, man.
why not? People die from snake bite, and that's the only reason that I do it is to beat snake bite. And the people that die from snake bite, that's who I represent. And that's the reason I do it. I mean, it's not for money or fame or any of that type of shit. It's like just understanding venom and what it does to you, you know? So
this is one of your videos where you get bit by a taipan.
Yep, straight up.
And a black mamba.
Mm-hmm.
All in the same time.
Yep. Yep.
Do you like now when it bites you and it's going through your veins, right? Through your bloodstream, do you feel it?
No, you don't feel it because your antibodies neutralize it so you don't feel it. You do not feel it. If I felt it, I would die, obviously, but you have to know what you're fucking with. It's very extreme. There's no doubt about that.
I think this is probably extreme as it comes, Tim.
Yeah. And the reason I did it is because I almost died after 2 cobra bites. So I wanted to go back to the original me time. Let me call it that. You know, I wanted to just push the limits because people die from snake bite. So I wanted to pick the 2 most dangerous snakes in the world. I didn't want to pick bullshit snakes. So I picked those 2 specifically. And that's exactly PNG taipan and Dendroacid pyelepis, the black mamba. I wanted to pick the 2 most of the worst. And
he's aggressive, huh?
Yeah, they want to kill you pretty much, you know. Yeah, the black mamba. Yeah.
I notice when you handle these snakes, you don't look too worried that it's gonna like sneak around and bite you, you know?
Well, I'm pretty calm with it because I know I'm immune. I mean, at this point, it's not like I knew I was immune because my notes and my pictures are so correct and so nuts on that I just know that I can do that. It's not easy to do, but the reason I do it's because people die, you know.
Now,
I got fucking sick of it. I was at that point, I was so pissed off that nobody's doing anything with the 125,000 people a year that die. They're not.
But I mean, they are in the lab doing things, right? They're.
Oh yeah, we're doing stuff in the lab. That's why we have our D9 antibody right now that we've cloned, and we've cloned it because of those snakes.
And it came from your blood, right?
Yep.
Wild.
And that's why we did it. And our next thing is to do is PLA2s at the neuromuscular junction. I'm not going to get deep into science about it because most people aren't going to give a shit about it, but that's exactly what we're doing. You know, and then we have to tackle the metalloproteinase and serine proteinase, and that's all Viperidae. That's all a different complex. It's that extreme. So yeah, yep.
Wow. So you let it one bite you on one arm, when the other one bite you on the other arm.
Oh yeah, straight up. Yep.
you're walking around with that had to hurt, man.
Yeah. Well, venom is very inflammatory by nature. It always has and always will be. Even if you're immune, it still sucks. It's not like it's a walk in the park. I mean, that shit'll put you down for days, even if you're immune.
So now, oh wait, let me see. You just showed them. Now, have you ever took the venom and haven't been ready for it? You said you have to wait a certain amount of time. Is there like can you take it too soon or too late?
Well, what I do is I dry all the venom out mathematically in my milligram scale over here, and I dry it out. I don't just get bit like once. It's a process of years of figuring shit out. There's no book on it. So I dry it out, weigh it out, take notes on it, put it in my Excel file, mathematically figure out how I can calculate how much venom to do. Because that's the question. How much venom do you do?
Yeah, you said one time you fell out, right? You passed out.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I've been flatlined. I don't know how many times, but well, once, of course. And the other problem is, and this is really important, is that the antivenom that we're making at the lab at Sinovax, we're building it to reduce anaphylactic shock, which is called IgE, anaphylactic shock, which antivenom is made out of horses, equines. So we're trying to reduce that effect and make it out of humans. So there's no anaphylactic shock. It makes a better antivenom. And they can clone the antivenom or my antibodies and make it better and tighter and change amino acids and change everything with it. So that's what's really cool about it.
They use your antibodies for the anti-venom, right?
That's exactly what they're doing. And I gave you a note on that in our publication. That's where D9 is so important at the neuromuscular junction with nicotinic alphas and short and long acetylcholinase receptors. And that's why it's so powerful.
I know all about that stuff.
Glad you do, because I don't.
I know, I really don't. It just sounds like I'm smart.
No, it's cool.
So, what year did you first get bit? And do you want to tell the people what you did for a living? Like,
well, I work for the lab now for a living, but before that, it was mechanic, construction worker, or just bullshit fucking jobs for 20 fucking years. I mean, that's just what I did. I just, I don't have a degree. I have like 6 college credits. But in hindsight, luckily, I'm glad I didn't have a degree or did that, because they didn't like what I did. They didn't believe in it, so it was a shitstorm, man, for a lot of years. I was working at a construction company, getting bit by cobras and mambas, and I'm like, what the fuck? 125,000 people die a year. 5 million get bit. 400,000 people lose limbs to this shit. And I'm going to construction jobs and my bullshit jobs and everything else. And for me, and I'd come home and get bit by it. But I'd come home and get bit by it and make notes, crazy notes, and reach out to scientists and try to figure shit out to the very highest level. That was my goal. And if I wasn't a zoo or had a degree, I would never do it, because they wouldn't let me do it.
No.
And I got the personality that's, fuck you, man. I'm going to do it anyway, As I look at the rattlesnake sitting over here looking at me. And,
Can you show us the rattlesnake?
oh no, I ain't taking that fucker out.
No, don't take him out. No. Don't bring him nowhere near nothing.
No,
I don't want Jose wants to know, where are you from? And Wisconsin. And what year did you first what year did you get your first snake? And
shit, what year? I don't know. Shit. As far as venomous, in the 90s, probably. I started in 1998 actually with copperheads and cobras and scorpions. But you know, I actually started milking scorpions
and centipedes, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't say millipedes. Centipedes. Yeah. I did centipedes. I went to school for a little bit, milking it, thinking I could sell some venom, you know, for money or whatever. And then I realized, holy shit, people die from fucking snakebite. A lot of them. And I'm like, I started getting into it, and then reached out to people and wanted to be studied in the labs.
Now, this is before you ever got bit, or?
Yeah, totally. Okay. And I reached out to scientists, God, was it 2000, 2001? And I'm like, shit, I got bit. So I'd messaged Dr. Anthony too, Dr. Finlay Russell, and every scientist in the world, every senator, the White House. What can we do to stop snakebite? I was on a fucking mission. It didn't go anywhere because it wasn't degreed. I didn't have a degree. So nobody's going to buy your shit. And I just kept getting bit. And then I got studied once, studied twice, studied for the third time, studied for the fourth time, studied for the fifth time, study for the sixth time. 6 times in 20 years. And that really, really launched the whole project. And that's when I met, Jacob Glanville, and we said, shit, let's make a human antivenom with it. Use my blood, clone the antibodies, and that changed everything. And that's the publication that I gave you.
Yeah.
And that's our D9 antibody. And we have a lot of work to do with that, but we're on a really good schedule to push hard to make it work. And I'm really happy with it. I really am. It started out as like a stupid hobby, and it turned into the most serious shit since Albert Calmetti 120 years ago. That's the creator of antivenom, is Albert Calmetti. So it's nice to be part of changing medical science. History, basically. I mean, we're changing history with this here.
Yeah. In the whole way that it could have gone, because without your work, who knows how many other lives could be lost,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really weird to sit here because I said, look at that fucker again. It's neat to be part of it, but it's also, it kind of sucks because people think it doesn't work. And I always say that if they can make it in horses or other animals, why can't they make it in us? Why can't they make it in Homo sapiens? There's no reason they can't. And to answer that really specifically, people die, and how do you prevent that? That's my thing. People die from snakebite. Okay, big fucking deal. What do you do? For me, it's inject myself with venom and make a vaccine, which is what I did. And that's how the antivenom was created. Because of my blood. Was it easy? Fuck no, it's not easy, man. It's a bitch, dude. It sucks. It's not a walk in the park. A black mama bite's a bitch. A grain's a bitch. Cobras are tough. Taipans are tough. Rattlesnakes are tough. Cobras are tough. But if they can make it in horses or any other animal, which we are, why can't they make it in us? And that's exactly the problem I wanted to solve. Make it in us. Make it in humans. The problem is, how are you going to immunize everybody in the world that gets bit? I'm not going to see it. You're not going to do it.
This guy Jay says, how readily available is the anti-venom? I've seen shows where people have to fly it in and someone's on the verge of death. Is anti-venom still that scarce?
Okay, let me give you an example. Great question. In Africa, they make 15,000 vials of antivenom a year. They need 20,000 vials a year. Times that times 10 in India. Antivenom is scarce. Antivenom is really weird because they're using other snakes. They're not even from maybe the continent. It's crazy how scarce it is. There's no funding for it. It's a third world problem. You know, it's really sketchy. There's no money for it. A lot of people, actually 60% go to traditional healers, voodoo doctors.
Does it help them too?
Does
it help? Do the voodoo doctors help them?
No, they can't because they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, they end up dying, right?
50 to 60% of everybody in the old world, and this is a straight up fucking fact, go to voodoo doctors, traditional healers, and they're going to die or lose an arm or lose a foot. 20% go to hospitals and the rest die. That's a straight out fact. So the problem we have now is like, all right, how do you reach out to all these people all over the world that go to voodoo doctors and they rub a black rock on your arm to beat snakebite death? It's not going to work. You're going to die. They're not even going to get to the hospital. Most of these people are 4 or 5 hours away to even get to the hospital if they have the antivenom. And most hospitals do not have the antivenom.
How much does it cost if they do have it? How much?
Oh shit! Over there, $100, $200 US dollars. Over there, I don't know what it is, but it's about $100, $200. But over there, $200 to them is like a year's worth of work. So, and when you lose that person in the community, you lose somebody that can make work in your community, farming, helping out in the community. So when that person's gone, somebody has to pick that up to do farm work, any work. And that's the problem.
Cooking, laundry, they have to pick up the slack from losing one of their. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So when one person goes down, basically 20 go down because they're not picking up that pace on doing the work that they need to do as far as making the village survive. So that one person that goes down could take 20 people go down. They're not hunting. They're not gathering. They're not making food. They're not doing the things they used to do, which they had to do, and now they're gone. So the burden on their country and in that region is dramatic, 100%, because the dude's gone, or she's gone, or the kid's gone. You know, it all comes down to basic shit. Having cots, having tents, having a place to stay where it's safe, where people bite snakes, which is 60% of the time at night. And that keeps the community alive. When you lose that person in the community, you lose everything in that community. It's every time, all the time. And it sucks. And, you know, it's money. You know, these people there's no money. I mean, there's just no money. They can't afford that. Fuck, you could take 4 hours to drive to a hospital. Well, shit, you're probably going to die in about an hour to 2 hours. Black mamba bite, cobra bite. You're not going to get to a hospital in Tanzania that quick. Do you have cell phones? Do you have communication? Do you have a car? Do you have transport? Do you have, all that shit comes into play. So even if we have the perfect product, which we will have, you still have to get to it.
Yeah, you have to get it to people. Have you gone out there and witnessed that stuff for yourself?
No. I've talked to them all the time. I have a lot of friends in Africa and Asia and Australia and been at conferences, the whole 9 yards. And that's the problem. I'm basically 8,000 miles away from people that die. And I really can't do too much about it because until I get out there, I still can't do anything. What am I going to do? So my job now is to reach out and talk to these people and see, how can we fix this? Even if we have the best product on the planet, antivenom-wise, well, I think they should immunize, but you still have to get to it. You still need transportation. You still need a car and phone and a cot and good shoes and basic protocols in place to get to it. Because the product.
How long with like you get bit by a black mamba? How long until you die?
Black mamba shit.
Like 5 minutes. Yeah. Like, so you really don't even have a chance with that. What are you supposed to do?
It's a damn ass good question. That is a damn ass good question. We need to do two things. To teach these people where they're going, the traditional healers, to educate these people on how to do it and what to do. We need to have antivenom in their hands as fast as possible. As fast. We need to have it. We don't need cold storage. We need a lyophilized product to where they can inject it immediately. I know it sounds stupid, but it makes a shitload of fucking sense. If you think about it, if somebody gets bit, what's the first thing you're going to do? Holy shit. I have to drive 4 hours or over rivers, over bridges.
But you have to know what you got bit by too. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
You have to know what kind of snake it is, identify it. Normally they're all gone. The snakes.
Yep. Damn ass good point. But with a universal antivenom, it doesn't matter because if we can neutralize the 3-finger toxins, PLA2s, metalloproteinase, serine proteinase, oh my God, don't get me going. It doesn't matter because if it neutralizes everything, you don't need to know what the snake is. That's our goal. Is it possible? Maybe. I don't know yet. And yes, you're correct. Because is it a mamba? Is it a cobra? Is it whatever? Viperidae. I mean, the list goes on. Yeah, totally. But if we can pull this off and do a neutralizing antivenom across the board, we don't need to know what it is. Because that antivenom is going to work on everything. And that is our point. Yeah. To neutralize all these fractions. But yes, what you said is 100% correct. Because if it bites you when it leaves, like you said, you're not even going to know what it is.
Yeah.
It could, bite you and take off, or you're sleeping and takes off, or whatever the fuck. I mean, totally, 100% get it. But what we're trying to do is to make an antivenom to neutralize all those 4 families. And that's very important because all those 4 families of snake venom, if it works, and it really has in the lab, in vitro and in vivo, is work 100% of the time. Let me give you an example. We can neutralize in vivo king cobra venom, Alpha-Avicus hammer. I've never used it, ever. The reason that we can neutralize that venom is because of my D9 antibodies, which cross to all elaphids, everywhere. Everywhere. We already figured that out.
Yeah, you're immune to every snake.
No, I would not say that. I would not say I'm immune to all 600 venomous snakes out of the 3,000 species. I'm immune to a lot because I've used a lot. I've used so many different snakes that across the board, between mambas and cobras and rattlesnake, taipans and crates and coral snakes, I've used so much stuff that I've raised those antibodies to a really high level. And then what we do with that, we take it to a lab and we pan it. It's called panning. And the panning draws out the antibodies, and then we take it to an ELISA, and we take it to a gator machine, and we take that's where we got the D9 antibody. The D9 antibody neutralizes almost every elapid. That's lab shit that I gave you. It's not bullshit. So that's very important. And that D9 antibody is amazing. But we have to deal with other things too. If it was just that, we could neutralize every venom fraction on the planet, but we can't because we have to do PLA2. We have to do cytotoxins. We have to do myotoxins. We have to do metalloproteinases and serine proteinases, and the list goes on, you know. So it's very complicated with the whole fucking project is neuromuscular junction hemostasis. Hemostasis, the way the blood clots. We have to deal with that too. We're working on that. But if we can do that, we have a good shot to neutralize damn near everything. And you can clone it. You can mass produce it in the billions. In the billions.
Right when the anti-venom goes in you, does it start to reverse the effects?
Yeah, it stops it. And that's
just cold turkey, just straight, like right when it hits it?
Yep.
What is
those
it like?
antibodies recognize those epitopes and they figure it out, bind to it, release it. And that's what antivenom does. In the case of me, I don't need antivenom at once, but I've already blocked it in the first place.
Do you want to tell me about the time you did need it?
Oh, shit, dude. No. Well, we can talk about it. Yeah, it sucks, man. 2000, 2001, flatlined, 2 cobra bites. Yeah, it sucks, man. It's a rough feeling. It's a rough feeling. You have what's called ptosis, and you can't breathe, and you have like 2 seconds before you go down. It's like 1, 2, boom, death. And you either live or you die. So after that point, I realized that, shit, I don't want to do that again because it sucked. But it's a rough feeling to go through. Either you live through it or you die. And I'm glad I made it. But
did someone bring it to you? Or
I had my own antivenom.
Did you give it to yourself before you fell out?
No. When I biffed it, I had my own antivenom because I had permits from the FDA. I had my IND number. I had the permit. I had everything. And I just got stupid and just ran it too hard, you know, and went to the hospital in a coma and got out of the coma, and I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? You know, is it working, or what am I going to do? Blah, 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 blah. And my ex-wife at the time said, you either fix it or fucking stop doing it because you can't figure it out. And I'm like, all right, this shit's fucking hard. It's not easy. I know that. But it was weird. And I figured it out. I got pissed. I got pissed at myself. Because let me tell you, you should keep shit safe, use gloves, have anti-venom. I've always promoted that. I'm not a free handler. I don't be like some of these dudes that think they're immune and they're not, or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, shit, I gotta quit. I can't do this again. I mean, because it was bad. It was bad.
I see some of these videos, right, of these people getting bit by cobras, and it's no joke, man. A lot of them in the videos don't make it.
No, you ain't gonna make it too far with a cobra bite. And you know, after the fact, to be honest, I got fucking pissed, dude. I was like, I was pissed. I was straight up fucking like, what the fuck did I do? What am I doing? And I refocused strongly. Well, for a lot of years, but at that moment it was days. I'm like, okay, fine. I damn near died in a coma. What the hell am I going to do with this shit? You know, so I was fucking heartbroken. I was pissed off, man. And I had to make a difference, you know, I know I can beat it. I know why I fucked up. I fessed up to it. Called the zoo, said, shit, had antivenom. They had to pay for it. I had to pay them back, I think. And I'm like, after 1 year, I'm like, this is so stupid. What the fuck am I doing, man? And then I got fucking really good at it. I'm like, that's the reason I did taipan bites and mamba bites back to back, and amongst others. But I had to
because you dialed in, right? You like I
had to go back to it to either live or die. You know, I was so fucking hell bent that 125,000 people die, and I fucked up. So I went right back into it. Pissed off as a motherfucker. I mean, pissed because of me, not them, nobody else, just me. And I went back into it, ball to the fucking wall. That's why I did the black bites and the taipan bites back to back and rattlesnake bites, you know, whatever, you know. And I had to neutralize that in my own head because people fucking die. And I felt bad that I almost died trying to represent them, and I fucked up. So I'm like, all right, how am I going to fix this shit? How do you fix it? Black mamba bite, taipan, back to back. Filmed it. You've seen it. No joke. And I had to go back and revisit that very clearly. Not just for me, but for the people that have died from snakebite. And to be honest, it worked. It fucking worked. Because we're making a human antivenom right now. It's in the lab. I've been to Venom Week. I've talked to everybody on the planet on this. I'm happy about that. So I always make it very clear that, number one, I fucked up. Number two, I admitted it. I didn't run from it. Because you can't run from those mistakes, man. You can't hide from it.
But that's how your mistakes is what creates your drive to perfect your craft. You know what I mean?
Fucking got it, Bill. You fucking got it. And if you don't accept that and you think you're bigger than you are, you're not. And I never thought I was. I never think I am. I never think I will be. But I just have to have that self-reflection saying, guess what, I fucked up. But it doesn't mean you quit. It doesn't mean you give up. You just rebuild it. And the rebuilding process is very fucking difficult. It's hardcore shit. It's not a walk in the park. It's not breaking your arm or your ankle or in a car accident. It's like, you're fucking dead, dude. And I had to rebuild all that shit in a fucking second. And I rebuilt it.
When you wake up from the coma, do you remember anything that happened? Do you know what happened to you?
Oh, I knew what happened to me. When I was in ICU at Friede Hospital in Wisconsin, it was cold. I turned my head over. I could barely turn my head. I could turn my head over and see a lady having brain surgery. There's only 12 rooms in the ICU there that are
Glass
highly.
walls.
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, I'm either dead or dreaming. And I'm like, oh my God. And my ex grabbed my hand and I couldn't move it because snake venom affects the peripheral nervous system, not the central nervous system. So I couldn't move my hands. And she grabbed my hand and said, I'm going to get you a sandwich. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what is that going to do? I can't even eat a sandwich. But I could feel it and hear him saying he flatlined, he's in ICU, wrap him up. Doctors coming up to me saying, what the fuck? And yeah, it was something I never, ever want to revisit again. But when I got out of it, it was really funny. 4 days later, bitten a Wednesday, it was Sunday, I think. The Journal interviewed me saying, what the fuck? Why'd you go down this bad? What are you doing? And I went down to my lab and started injecting venom again because I knew where I fucked up.
It sounds like a drug addict who overdoses,
Pretty
gets
much.
out of the hospital, runs right back to the drug.
I would rather go back to the heroin than that shit because I don't know. I don't do drugs, but it's like that. It's like that. It's like you just, yeah, you're out. And then you come back and it's like, what the fuck you do when you come back? Do you quit? Can you imagine if I fucking quit? If I said, fuck it, this shit sucks, I'm stupid, I made a mistake, honest about it, of course, always honest. If I quit at that moment, this shit would not be happening right now. We would not have a D9 antibody and the shit at Centevax if I said, fuck it and quit. So I walked downstairs in my crutches, I think I fell, and said, fucking do it again. But I gotta get better at it. I gotta get smarter at it. I gotta be better at it. How do you get better at it? There's no books on it. There's no, other than Haas, there's no shit on it. There's nothing that's on it.
So what do? Do you study like the effects of it and just get as much information as you can and try to make your own judgment?
Yeah. What I did is after that moment, after that Sunday, after that interview, when my wife sat me down and yelled at me and kicked me in the balls, which I agree with, I said, fuck it. I'm either done or I got to kick ass. Let's go to the latter. I kick fucking ass. I'm like, no, I know I can beat it. I fucked up. But if I quit on this because I fucked up, people will die. Now, mind you, as I sit here now and talk to you, we are building a beautiful antibody system on this. I work with the greatest PhD scientists in the world. The world. Not fucking with you. And because of that day and that mistake and all those studies, 6 times studied, talked to Nobel winners, shit I've talked to everybody about. I've redefined my game because of my mistakes. Complete fucking mistakes. My fault, nobody else's. I redefined it because if I didn't do that, then fucking why do anything? Just quit. So I redefined everything. And that's the reason I've been studied so many times and reached out so many times in publications. Not a lot that are great, but most are. And now when I look back on it, if it wasn't for that fatal night after those 2 bites, I do not think I would be the person I am today because of my mistakes. my failures. I had to suck it up, admit to myself I'm not that great at what I do. Well, I still don't, and it changed everything. It changed everything. Not just me getting bitten now, it's a piece of cake, but to go through that process with no books, just teaching myself, just me. I didn't have anything to go. I wasn't working with shit. I wasn't working with doctors. I want nothing. I created that for me, and I want to take that to people that die from snakebite. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. Not originally, but I have. I know that. It's obvious. But I'm super proud of that because there's so many people that are going to be alive because of my fuck ups, basically.
Well, hey, your failure turned into a success.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But you also have to understand that you have to realize when you fuck up, and not many people can do this. When you fuck up, you admit it and you say you fucked up.
Yeah, a lot of people try to be like, nah.
Yeah. No,
Has anyone else ever tried to do this besides that guy who died in the process? Is there anyone on record that
Charles Tanner, I believe 1958 was studied, but he didn't do what I do. Bill Haast, of course, first injection 1948. My good buddy Harold Murky III is a master at what he does, and he's a good friend of mine, has done it. Ray Hunter has done it. Ray Hunter has done it pretty damn ass good, as far as you can get it. There's other people that have done it. I am not a pioneer in the field. I'm simply the middleman. And those people, I all know those people. Well, minus Bill, he's gone, but I know them very well. Good friends of mine. We take it to different levels. I just take it to a fucking extreme level. And I want to blast that fucker out of the water, not just with bites. That's one thing. I want to take it to the level of science. Going to Venom week last year for me was huge. The lab I work with is huge. The doctors I work with are huge. The PhD scientists I work with are huge. My goal was not just beating the bites, but taking it to the level of academia where nobody has ever taken it before. Ever. That's been my goal. I've been successful. I've failed, and I've admitted those failures, like I have tonight. But I'm really happy that I've taken it to a level where I don't know if anybody could ever take it to that level again. I hope they break my fucking records, because if they do, more lives will be saved. But I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I think you pushed it right to the limits, man.
Right to the end of the death.
Yeah.
And that for me is cool, because there's going to be a kid in Africa someday. Who did I fucking just talk to? Somebody in Africa, who died, and from a snake that I use. And I can't even imagine like going African. Some kid just walks up to me and shakes my hand and says, "Dude, thanks, I'm alive because of your antivenom or what you've done."
Someone died from the snake that you used?
Yeah, somebody just died by was it a black mamba yesterday, day before? Whatever it is. I mean, there's tons. It could be a cobra, it could be bittis, could be ecus. I mean, whatever. Every day I see it. So it'd be really cool to meet somebody, some kid that I don't even know 8,000 miles away, and shakes my hand and just says, "Fuck, dude, thanks for everything you've done. Everything. Whether it be antivenom, whether it be a vaccine, whether it be shit I do, that would be really cool for me to have that kid just have a life." that I provided for him. I don't even know him, can't speak his language. That's not just Africa. It could be Central America, South America, Asia.
India has a big snake problem, right?
Big.
Huge.
50,000 people a year die in India. Just India. By the big four. 50,000 people die by that. And I blow it up.
Look at this guy, Boston Bruins fan, says crazy stuff. My wife's uncle died from a rattlesnake bite out of Wyoming. He was bit, rushed to the ER, given antivenom, and still died in less than 30 minutes between the bite and the antivenom.
Mm-hmm.
See, because it will not always work, right? You could be too late after they give it, like in this situation.
Exactly. I'm sorry to hear that, by the way. My apologies. Condolences, I mean. Yeah. I mean, you can get fucking tagged, and if you get to the hospital, doesn't mean you're going to survive.
Yeah,
what if you get up to the front door?
We got no antivenom here.
Yeah, or antivenom shit. You know, I mean, there's so many factors that come into play with that. I mean, it's like, and that's why I promote so often that I'm immune to shit. I don't need antivenom. Great, we have it. We can make a better antivenom, but you have to get there. Even if it's 30 minutes to get there, you could be dead in 15. Even if you walk into the door, like you just discussed, you could be dead.
Yeah, I've seen videos. They get bit, they like turn around and fall on the ground. And they're done. Like it doesn't take long.
Yep. And that's what we have to promote. Having shoes when you work, having cots where you live, and having tents. I mean, not tents, but covering
barriers.
Most snake bites. Yeah, most snake bites are at night. Almost 60%.
In the toilet too, right? They have outhouses. A lot of people get bit in the toilet, right?
Have a clean fucking house. If you have a dirty house, you're going to have rats. If you have rats, you're going to have snakes. So have a clean house. If you have holes, if you have open doors, if you have anything in your house that can get in there, that's where they die in the old world. Every single time. And of those people that survive, they go to traditional healers, witch doctors, bullshit artists, call them.
What if you get the antivenom to them people, to the witch doctors?
It's fucking funny you said that, because I was talking to PhD Nick, my boss at the lab, and he goes, "Man, we need to get antivenom to the witch doctors." And I'm like, "Shit, that'd be a good idea." And he's like, "How are we going to do that? How are you going to get antivenom to the witch doctors in the middle of Africa or Asia or anywhere? You're not. You're not going to convince them to be honest, dude. You know why?
Probably not.
They're too superstitious, man. And superstition is not going to survive.
And it's traditional. It's not like this is what they learn over their whole lives. That's
what they know. That's all they know. That's all they know.
You come to them with the facts. They look at you like you're crazy. Like
just like I look at them like they're crazy. I mean, it's a reversal, you know, and it's like, all right, that's cool. But that's the problem. I mean, 50% of people that die from snakebite in the old world, I shit you not, go to witch doctors and traditional healers, and they almost always die. Now you have about 10, 15% to get to hospitals. Shit. Okay, great. Do they have antivenom? If they do, if you get there, which they don't, might have the antivenom, but is it the correct antivenom? For the snake that bit you, that you don't even know what bit you. So you're fucked again. It's a double fuck.
You said you have a rattlesnake right near you, right?
Fucking, I'm looking at the worst one in the world, Eastern Western Cross.
Can you show it to us? Not with your hands. Just show us on the camera. Do you have the camera?
No, it's over there, but I'm not pulling that bitch out.
No, don't pull it out. I don't want you to pull it out. Are you on your phone?
No, it's right over there. Can you see it? It's right over there.
Yeah, I think they just want to look at it.
No, it's a big bastard. And the reason I use that snake is because, well, number one, it's got the worst venom on the planet. Not the planet, but as far as rattlesnakes go, it's a super serious. That's Mojave, but I think Mojave or black, maybe.
Yeah,
black.
this is Mojave.
Or black Mojave, yeah. And I've done too many to remember.
You've done way too many, man.
I know.
You don't even look. See how you're grabbing that snake?
That's Mojave.
How do you not know the snake's not just gonna turn and bite you real quick? You just don't care, or you?
I don't give a shit. I'm immune to it.
She said, "I want to see the snake." Look, it's right here.
Yeah, that's a bitch, man. That's a
look at it. Listen to it rattling. There you go. Hey, is the one that is with you right now, does it have a rattle and all that?
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah. But see, the difference is between that particular snake Mojave, it has 3 different types of venom, A, B, and A and B. I won't get into it too in depth, but this particular snake doesn't have it. But it has Western Diamondback, Eastern Diamondback venom. It doesn't have the PLA2s. It's strictly metalloproteinase, serine proteinase, and it's a motherfucker. It's bad.
How bad does it hurt when they bite you, the rattlesnake?
Oh, yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Out of all the snakes, out of like a cobra, black mamba, and a rattlesnake, which one hurts the worst?
Western Diamondback, number 1, as I look at my finger, which I still have, and it hurt. Cape Cobra, Egyptian Cobra, spitting cobras are really bad because of the cytotoxicity, and I won't really get into that, but it's very tissue destructive. Rattlesnakes are bad. Mojave, not so much. It depends on the type. Western Diamondback, oh, fuck. Bad. Eastern, bad. Because it has tissue destroying toxins of the highest level. And those are the worst of the worst of the worst. I mean, there's others, of course, but others are water cobras. That's
water
water
cobras.
Yeah.
Do you
now
still
that
have these
that
snakes?
particular venom does not have any cytotoxins. It's pure neurotoxins.
So
now,
it paralyzes you.
It'll fuck you up. It's the most venomous snake in Africa other than the boomslang, LD 50.14. Naya annulata is the scientific name, and that fucker will take you the fuck out. But that's the reason I picked it. That's why I wanted it. I wanted those antibodies to that snake to generate what we've generated. And that's probably because of that snake that we've generated D9 antibodies. It's exactly this. They don't kill a lot of people. They're from the Congo. They don't kill anybody. But I didn't pick it for that reason. I picked it to generate antibodies to make our D9 antibody, basically. You know.
Charles Phillips says, here in Connecticut, does the water moccasin kill?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. There's only like 10 people in North America that die from venomous snakes. 10 to 14, give or take. North Carolina being the highest at 1,680 bites. West Virginia's one. Florida's one. Arkansas is one. I'm going through my notes in my head. And Arizona, California, there's some shit too, but not really.
They have mountain diamondbacks, mountain rattlesnakes in Connecticut in the hills. They have a place called Rattlesnake Mountain.
I've never been there. I don't know, to be honest, but it's not a problem really. North America, I mean, just like Australia, it's like 10, 12 people a year that die, but although all their snakes are mainly venomous, they have really good antivenom. They have really good health care, just like we do in North America.
Yeah.
But they don't have that in the old world. They don't have that in Asia, in India. India. You know what I mean? Or Africa. They don't have it. They don't have the facilities. And that's the problem that we have. Even if we make the greatest product on the planet, you gotta fucking get there.
Yeah, if you can't get it to them, it's really
what the fuck's the point of having it?
Pointless. Yeah,
exactly.
It's like riding a yacht with a bunch of homeless people waving at them. Pointless.
Yeah. And I talk to these people all the time, which is, to be honest, a good thing. I talk to people in Africa all the time. And do you have cell phones? Do you have transportation? Do you have all these things that are necessary to get to it? And I'm like, well, you know what? How the fuck can we get the product to them faster? And I talk to the lab.
Airdrop.
I talk about droning. Drone. You said it. You took the goddamn words out of my mouth. Drone that shit in. I'm bit by this. Okay, whatever. Drone it in. They do it. We have problems right now with air traffic space, to be honest, because there's air traffic controls with it. It's beyond my comprehension. But you're right. Drone it in. Fuck, I got bit by this shit. Drone it in. Drop it. They already do it with medication. So why?
I have a guy, Josh, who's a drone operator. Man, he's really good. He does all kinds of stuff like that. The technical sides of it.
It makes perfect fucking sense. But the logistics of it are beyond my comprehension, to be honest. But god damn it, it's so fucking logical. Okay, I got bit. Shit, thrown it in. I got bit by what? All right. If it's a universal, we don't give a shit. It works. It's going to neutralize something like our D9 antibody. If we could drone in our D9 antibody to the elapids in Africa, it doesn't work in the Americas. D9 is not going to work in the Americas. We already figured that shit out. But if you could D9 and drone in our D9 antivenom, I guarantee we would save tons of lives. But the logistics of it are hard. The fly zones, the controlling of the governments, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, who pays for all this and all that?
Shit.
Like you, yeah.
Yep. And I don't fucking know. These are just ideas. They're thoughts. We've talked about it extensively in the lab, how we can do it. I don't know. They don't know. I mean, but fuck. If I was in Africa and I get bit by something and I'm going down, drone that shit in.
You wouldn't have to worry about nothing. You just keep walking out. You wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In a perfect world, that would be nice. I know for a fucking fact I'm not going to see it. I'm not blowing any smoke up anybody's ass. It's just thoughts and conversations that lead to possibilities of the solution. I know I can't immunize everybody. I know they're not going to do what I do. It's just too fucking brutal. It's too hard. I know that. I'm trying to help the people that are going to die fucking tonight and tomorrow and next week and next year. And even if it doesn't work, who gives a fuck? It's an idea. Okay, we can't drone. Fine. It doesn't work. Fine. It doesn't mean we quit. We just come up with better fucking ideas. And ideas and ideas and ideas and ideas and ideas. And that's what I fucking do, man. I just constantly think about this shit, And that makes me feel good because someday there's going to be a kid that walks up to me and says, fuck, thanks, man.
They're probably already out there.
Yeah, they're. I've heard it. I've seen it.
Have you gotten your anti-venom to some of these hospitals out there?
Nope. The anti-venom's not made yet because we're not done with it. Our D9 antibody in the paper that I gave you, that's done. But we have to do PLA2, we have to do metalloproteinase, serine proteinase. We have to combine the whole mixture, and we're working on that. It's very complicated. But I will tell you this. I've reached out to damn near everybody in the world, in Africa, in Asia, India mainly, to people that are going to help us get this shit in the field. Because we have to do in vitro studies, we have to do in vivo studies, and then we have to do manufacturing. And then once manufacturing's done, well, shit, what do you do with that? How do you mass source this shit out all over the world? So we're working on that. Very complex, very in-depth. Most of it I don't know anything about, but that's what we're working on. That's our goal. Our goal is actually to have places in the old world where we can distribute, like let's say India, of course, and have a distributed manufacturing corporation in India to where we can branch out and have antivenom go there, and then branch out to go to the different places. India, boom, Africa, have a manufacturing plant there too. We're talking about that. Have a manufacturing industry there and ship it there and branch it out and get it to the hospitals or the closest village or you name it. That's what we're working on. And that is a very tasking thing.
Well, don't overdo it no more for your for the love of science, man, because I think you've already pushed your limits enough. Right. And there's people that want you to continue to do the research without having to do this type of shit. But anyway, man, I really appreciate you, man. It's always a great time when you come on, and you're welcome back anytime. I enjoy when you come on. A lot of people watch this, and I think they enjoy this too.
No, it's really cool, Bill, because number one, thank you. I really appreciate it. Because the word gets out, and without talking, if I just sat here and did like nothing and watched stupid fucking TV, which I'm going to do in a second, it raises awareness to the problem. So if I don't talk about it, even minus doing it, fuck that. I don't give a shit about that no more. But it raises awareness to the situation. And your podcast, even if it reaches 2 or 3 people, 4 or 500, I don't give a shit. I'll put time into that. Number one, because I love it. Number two, because it makes a fucking difference. I'm not going to sit back and not talk about it because what am I doing at that point? I'm not doing anything.
Then you're just being part of the problem, right?
I'm not doing shit. And hey, Bill, I talked to the lab yesterday. I have lab meetings every Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. And I said, I'm talking to Bill again. And they're like, they got all excited about it. They're like, Bill, they asked me about your story, which I don't know a lot about. I don't really give a shit. But I'm like, this guy's cool as fuck, He represents cool people. He loves his mob shit. So do I.
Yeah, man.
And they're just people trying to get better and reach out. dude, they loved it. They're like, fuck, man.
Hey, I'm striving for greatness, and people are gonna see that. Like, I was on the low end of life, man. I hated my life. I was an alcoholic. I was addicted to drugs, and I recovered from that. And I'm trying to show other people that they can do it too. They don't need to. My failures are still out there, you know.
Yeah, but you're making a big difference, dude. You've actually helped me by talking to you because everybody's a fuck up for the most part. Nobody's got a perfect life.
No.
There's so many degrees of it, of course, but I love this so much because I'm a fuck up and I like talking to fuck ups. Not you. It's just so much fun to just be honest and release, man, because nobody's going to learn if you just think you're the shit or, whatever, it's cool.
I gotta be honest though, man. I'm not letting no damn snake bite me, man. I'm running, I'm throwing that thing. I ain't going nowhere near that damn thing.
I had so much hope for you, Bill.
I'm good, man. I don't need to do that. No.
Oh, that's cool. You don't have to because that's my job and I've done it, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, man.
All you gotta do is pay bills. Big fucking deal.
I'm good with all that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you, and I'll definitely have you on again. I got something major in the works, and I'm gonna have you be a part of it.
Fuck
and,
yeah, dude.
People will see soon. Definitely.
Bill, it's always been a pleasure. I enjoy it tremendously. Thank you.
Hey.
I love you.
And if you guys want to check out his content, go check out his channel. He's got a YouTube channel, Tim Friede. It's Friede. And there's tons of content out there. And go watch some of our older videos. There's some of his videos mixed in, like I edited it together. And you can see crazy bites. And he survived them. So check that out. And his whole life story is on one of the interviews that we did. A couple of them. Down the line, but hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you could get my videos every time they drop. You want to give anyone a shout out before we go?
No, I don't have anything.
Shout out to Cinefax.
Cinefax.com.
Cinefax, right? Yeah. Cinefax.
Yep.
All right, man. Thank you, man.
Love you, Bill.
Peace out, everyone. Love you too, bro. Peace.